Hey, I'm Steven of Hops Hardways, and today I'm going to show you how I made my do-it-yourself craps walls that are easy to make, easy to put away and store, and easy to use. Let's check it out. If you're like me and you love the game of craps, but you don't have a lot of room in your house to put up a giant table that's permanent with giant walls and spend a lot of money on the wood and the rubber that goes in the corners and all this stuff, take the route that I went and make a really low budget DIY crafty craps table for yourself. Most of the things used in this project I found at a local hardware store, and I'm out the door at under $100. The first part of these craps walls was the wood to build the frames. I basically just got a long plank of wood at Home Depot, had them cut it for me in the dimensions that I needed it. This one is about, I think it's 9 inches tall, so my walls are 9 inches tall. I also got some thin slats, basically 9 inches as well, so I have one on each end of the wall as a cap, and then I have one in the middle of the back wall here. I've built one of these before, and what I did the first time was just get a 1x1 wood block and cut that to be 9 inches and put it in these corners and drilled it in. So you just had this permanent U-shaped wall, but for this version I wanted it to be able to fold away and slide under a bed or something like that, so I actually put hinges on the edges here so that they actually fold down, and now you basically have this nice flat thing. It doesn't fold super flat, and again, if I had this to do over, I might maybe cut here and put another hinge so it would fold back on itself or something, so it does lay perfectly flat, but this is still pretty flat. Now part two is, I mean, you could just get yourself something bouncy, some foam here or rubber, and just attach it to this and then take it off when you're not using it. And I've seen a lot of tables like that, like little tables that people have made where it's just three walls and they don't have the bend. They don't have the nice like U-shaped wall at the end of a table. So I wanted that in my table. So what I did is at Home Depot there's giant sheets of foam insulation. I think it's basically like a sheet of plywood, but it's half-inch foam. I don't have any that I'm not using currently, but basically looks like this. It's about, here, this camera probably sees it. It's not an inch thick. So basically you're going to cut that to be, this is 9 inches wide. The same, it's slightly under 9 inches wide. The same height as these slats here. And you cut this to fit, so when you cut it a little long, it's actually, when you force it in here, these blocks are going to hold it in place. And it's going to create a bend for you. Instead of just having foam flat walls. Step 3 is the actual rubber itself, because I wanted the diamond look, but I didn't want to pay for that rubber. That rubber's really expensive, and especially for a little DIY project like this, I didn't want to spend that much money. If I was going to have a professional table, by all means, go all out and buy the rubber. I wanted something that was similar, but not nearly as expensive, so the secret weapon is some foam soundproofing. These are 12 by 12 inch squares. So I cut the foam to fit on this foam, and then basically how I make it adhere to it is just some adhesive spray. Again, hardware store. You kind of got to be careful on what kind of adhesive you use on foam, because some of this stuff can eat up the soundproofing. The soundproofing is probably going to be the most expensive part of this build. And this stuff does come in different colors, which is kind of cool. So if you wanted to, it comes in green. I just didn't want to spend the money on green. This is probably the cheapest color, just this standard gray. But it comes in a whole bunch of colors. You can get super creative with it if you have a colorful table, whatever you want to do. I just, again, went super cheap. So you can already see that the bend in this is kind of there temporarily. The bend's actually a lot more severe than this. These are just kind of taking shape after having been inserted into this over and over. And you can kind of see too here I left a gap where I put the two foam pieces, because when this bend is, when you wedge this into the table, it bends and pushes these together, so it looks seamless when it's in the table. And the way I put this in the table, I know that this short gap here, it's going to cover half of this middle slat, and this long overhang part here is going to cover this entire edge slat here. So to put these in, I just kind of wedge this one into the middle slat, and then I gently push this one in. It goes all the way to the end, so it creates this nice curve for me, half of the wall, and it's covering all the wood. So when I put in this other, same thing, I have 4 of these, 2 for this one and 2 for the other wall. So when I put this one in, it covers this wood slat. I know this is a half of this wood slat, so it goes on this side, and the long gap here goes on this edge. So that is basically it. So now you have nice U-shaped walls for a craps table. Now again, super low budget, but you get your dice. They've got great bounce to them. Probably a little too bouncy, honestly, but I personally enjoy it, especially when you get to shoot all the way from the other end of the table. Your friends love it when they come over. Everybody has fun. Super awesome, good time. This could totally be improved upon, by the way. This is the second version of this that I've made. If you guys have any ideas of how to make this better, leave a comment below. Let us know. If I had to do this over again, I might make it so that it folds a little more flat, which I still could do to this one. It's just, these work so well for me right now, I'm not really worried about it. Another thing I would probably try to do, which I still could do to these, is somehow put a chip rack on top. Maybe get like a 2x4 or something and notch it out so that chips could sit in it, and somehow attach or lay on top of this. You know, some cup holders, right? That's important. I got these corners wide open. I could maybe put a cup holder right here. Yeah, so that's it. Again, I built these to fit this table too. This is like a 6-foot folding table. You finish it off with a felt. These felts are super cheap. You know, this is a $20 felt you find anywhere. It's super worn. So out the door, definitely under $100. Depending on how much you want to pimp out your accessories, how much you want to spend on your dice. So that's it. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel for more content. Check out some of our other videos over here, and we will see you guys next time. 7!